me, I want you to talk about, tell me a little about these systems, because I totally agree. There's so much of this is a systems game. What are the core systems, and how do you think about sales systems how do you think about sales systems?
Yeah. So when I think about building a business that can profitably make sales and create the conversations it needs and have those conversations, I think of a foundation of sales ready people and sales ready systems. So like people is the first system, and then I'll share some of the other systems, but those two systems, and systems, form the foundation of what I call a sales ready organization, Colin. And the sales ready organization framework creates clarity on what to do and a structured way to actually do it. So what's so important about having a framework for wrapping your revenue generating activities around is it prevents you from building and creating things that actually don't lead to driving revenue, which actually creates a ton of waste in your process. One of the ways that I help my clients add revenue with less sales work is I go and I look at their systems, most of which they're not using. And then the ones they're using, they're just not using effectively. And I'm like, that's just like clean all that shit out and stop doing a lot of this. And then the second way to help clients is just to actually do some of the work for them. But by far, the way to eliminate waste is just to look at things that have cluttered up their business over the years and years of working with, all their clients, all their employees, and all kind of the weight of all that, which isn't actually supporting the business. It's not the right foundation for where that business is going. So, when I think of those systems, there's really 5 core systems to being a sales ready organization. It's your mindset, right? It's your leadership systems. So, what do you actually want? What are your goals? How are you reporting on that? It's your marketing systems. So really, how are you creating conversations? It's your sales systems, and then it's your project management systems. So, and that's just on, I would just say on the revenue side, I don't really touch like client delivery, but it's, for revenue, for adding revenue, it's mindset, leadership, marketing, sales, and project management. People typically miss mindset because they think it's too woo-woo or spiritual, right? They don't really connect that in as a revenue generating activity, especially if they've never worked with someone in that capacity. But especially in sales, because we have so many stories around strangers and money, like mindset is super important for salespeople in particular. So having some coaching there is super important. And then they always miss project management. Like, there's like, they don't view, it depends on business level maturity or entrepreneurial maturity, but they don't view sales as like an ongoing project, or like they'll be like, hey, I set up my CRM, where CRM or revenue ops is something you need to do all the time and needs to be actively improved and managed all the time. So those are kind of the core sales ready organization systems. And that's what I work with my clients on, is really getting those systems in place, understanding, what you're doing well, what you're not doing so well, and kind of what's missing completely. Because sometimes it's just like a small thing that's missing, but if you don't have that framework, that checklist to understand what needs to be put in place, it's like a race car, man. Like if the race car doesn't have a steering wheel or a gas tank, you're going to have a pretty bad day as a race car driver. So
yeah, you'll be stagnant.
Yeah, you'll have like sweet engine, tires, turbo, all this stuff. But since sales is a system of systems, if one part of it is missing, the whole thing kind of doesn't work.